What if you're grateful but still want more? Maybe it's more purpose, more passion, more space to breathe, just more of being you. Can you want more without feeling guilty? Welcome to Of Motherhood and the Messy Middle, where we are reminding you that desire is not about discontent. And wanting more doesn't make you ungrateful, it makes you alive. Welcome to Motherhood and the Messy Middle, where grade school meets grown kids, hot flashes meet holy fire, and no topic is too messy for this village. I'm Robin, one half of the voice behind this podcast. Nicole and I are two moms who slid into each other's DMs and built a virtual village where we are inviting you into our honest, healing, and often hilarious conversations that help you feel not so alone in the beautiful chaos of motherhood and midlife. We talk about what it really means to mother, to grow, to fall apart, and rebuild, spiritually, emotionally, hormonally, and sometimes all before breakfast. So whether you're in the thick of motherhood, facing perimenopause, praying hard, or just tired of pretending you're fine, this space is for you. Let's dive in. Hey, friend.
Hey.
Welcome to a juicy one. Nicole, I feel like this is one of those conversations that many moms are having in their heads, but not out
Yeah.
loud. And it's one that we've been told so much as women and as mothers to be thankful, to stay content, don't rock the boat. You know, look at how many different things you have compared to back in my day, or even compared to other people, right? Like there's access and different levels of privilege, but are we allowed to be grateful for what we have and still want more? What do you think?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I think for me, I remember the first time that I said to a girlfriend, do you ever feel like you're just meant for more? Like there's more to come. So you're on the edge of something exciting. And she was like, no. And I was like, oh, so am I the weirdo? It was a very honest, she wasn't making me feel bad at all, but I felt like I was being so vulnerable. And I kind of thought everybody else felt that way. And she was like, no, not really. And then I realized, but that is just one person. And then as I got bolder to ask more people that, like, there is a large handful of us that do feel that way. I'm so grateful, but I also, there's a desire for something more.
Well, that's
And
doing
there's,
this podcast, right? Like this
yeah,
is
yeah,
something that has been placed on both of our hearts. And
yeah.
I have wrestled so much with the business part of me because and what I have found is that truly being an entrepreneur and building a business, it's beyond creating the content. It's putting it out there
Mm-hmm.
has really challenged my identity and what level of self-worth I truly have. I
Yeah.
know that I know that when I am in front of people and working with women, it's amazing. It's
Mm-hmm.
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
For them, it's this light, right, that I can see and that they can get to their goals around
Yeah.
what it is that they want to work on, and that what I'm offering is so unique, and what we're doing in this podcast is that way. And yet there is part of me that is afraid
Mm.
to put that out there in the world because I'm not supposed to be that big.
Right. There's something. So I started taking yoga probably about a year ago, and thanks to Robin. And
Namaste.
I remember this first yoga class, and I'd probably heard the term before, but we were doing, like, is it a star pose or your
Yeah,
arms are
yeah.
out really wide? And the instructor said, take up space. And I thought, what a visual representation. I am allowed to take up space. And it's good. And I'm worthy of that. It was this really powerful moment for me that something shifted. I'm allowed to take up space.
You
There's
are.
space for me.
And the thing that I think for me, I've worried about is that if I take up space, does that diminish other people's space?
Right. So the way that I feel like that is like just how my friend said, no, that she doesn't. That doesn't. It just like solidified for me that like we each have our own journeys. There was nothing wrong with her answer, and there's nothing wrong with my answer, and that we're both powerful in different ways. Her role is needed just as much as my role is needed, but they're both individual and there's space for each of them, right?
Absolutely. I think the challenge becomes that there are people in the world, and especially when we get into people that have fame, that have power, that are
Mm,
leaders in the world, that
mhm,
it's the power over and it's the
mm,
wanting to hold the spotlight on themselves
mhm,
versus to be able to take up more space to shine that on others.
mm,
And that's part of my calling and yours.
mhm.
And yet there is still this sense of, why can't it be enough? Why am I wrestle with it. I still
Yeah, I
wrestle
think
with
that's
it.
fair. I
And
think that's
I mean,
fair.
it's really vulnerable for me to admit that, but I have to model the things that I teach.
Yeah.
And it's part of a practice that I'm continuing to examine
Mhm,
of knowing my own worth in order to be able to shine that light for others. And
mhm.
imagine if all moms knew that and were able to do that.
Well,
But
yeah, because even if you think about, like, if you didn't have the boldness to step into your business and what your calling is, then we would have never met.
yeah,
And my life has been so benefited by your friendship,
mm,
uh, that would have shifted who I was.
well,
And
same.
then and then now we're coming together and we're creating this virtual village that I hope will impact other women, and there will be this ripple effect. And please don't ever stop taking up space because
Mm,
we all need you.
mm. Well, what is the difference? Like, how can you help me discern between, okay, now I'm going to get very real. The question is, I want to help discern the difference between like an unhealthy striving
Yeah.
versus like this holy calling and desire.
Gosh.
And what I'm realizing as I'm saying this and where the vulnerability comes in is that I know this is not everyone's journey, but
Mhm,
I am a recovering addict.
mhm,
And my recovery and stepping into the world of recovery came at a very, very dark and deep
mhm,
rock bottom.
mhm,
And as part of that, I was humbled, like
mhm,
beyond belief.
mhm.
And at some point, I would like to share that story.
Yeah.
It is mine to share. There are
Mhm,
aspects of it that aren't, and I want to take time to really, tend to what God calls me to share because I
mhm,
know that it can inspire others. But the biggest piece for me is that there was some trauma around I was getting too big. Like
mhm,
I was self-centered and
mhm.
it was my, and then you throw the alcohol on the fire and all of
Right.
a sudden I am literally a different person than I am today.
Mhm,
And I'm afraid
mm,
of being that person again.
mm,
I'm afraid if I become too big,
mhm.
is that the addict in me? Is that going to cause me to almost lose my family?
So,
I don't know.
the first thing that I think of is, you remember how in one episodes we were saying if you ask if you're a good mom, then that's your
Mm,
that's your answer?
yeah.
I feel like this could apply to that too. If you're asking that question, that in itself could be an answer, right? That awareness.
I think
I
that
don't.
you're right. I mean, that's part of what, I've done so much work to look at how do you transform energy and how do you shift
Mhm,
into alignment. And the first step
mhm.
is awareness. I
And I
guess,
also
go
think
ahead.
just from the outside perspective, as we've navigated these last 2 years of friendship and, sharing business ideas and struggles and starting different courses and different workbooks and different things, you are very in tune with what feels in alignment and what doesn't. And when you start something and it's clear that it's not in alignment, you pull it back. I feel like you really honor that. And I feel like those and I 'cause I feel this way because it's how I feel like it is for me. When I know that it's from the Lord, it's really easy to step into that calling. And I feel like if we stay in tune with and being in alignment with what the Lord's calling us to, then it's almost like it has its own checks and balances.
Mm.
But maybe I'm wrong because I've not experienced what you've experienced. But just from an outside perspective, I feel like I see you do that. Like, is this in alignment? And if it's not, you adjust.
Well, and thank you for that. And one of the things that came to me as you were talking is that you are talking to me, that I am not doing this alone.
Mhm.
And I can't do it alone. I can't shine my light and strive for more, whether that be making more money or having more of an impact, whatever it is, or a different passion that I want to pursue, a different career choice that it might be, without community,
Right.
without that is for me a way one of the many ways that God speaks to me is through the voice of others. Like that's
Mhm.
what communication, even the work, like the word
Mhm.
communication,
Mhm.
it's like
Right.
that's how I hear God
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
And having this conversation, this was one of them that I was like, Nicole, I don't know if I want to do this one because I don't really know where I'm going to go with it because it feels, I wasn't expecting to talk about addiction and recovery,
Right.
but that's the root of it for me.
Right.
And though that might not be the root of it for someone else, my greatest hope is that through the vulnerability of being able to share that and how many misconceptions there can be about what an addict looks like or what recovery
Mhm.
could look like, that I can shine a little bit of light on it and that people can take inspiration that whatever it might be for them,
Mhm.
it's okay to feel uncomfortable and it's okay to reach out to a
Mhm.
friend and ask about it. And
Mhm.
just the awareness and shining light on it, voicing it
Mhm.
means that you're doing something with it. You're moving
Mhm.
it in
Mhm.
order to create and take up more space.
Mhm.
And even when you did this and you did, the taking more
Mhm.
space with the star pose, wow, that's like setting you up for a really good hug, you know?
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
even reach out to more people, the more space that we
Mhm.
take up as moms, the more space that we have at our table, the more
Mhm.
people we can feed.
Mhm.
That's different between wanting more space just because we have a little visitor for those of
Oh,
you.
hi.
My
Is that
one of
Taco?
my this is Burrito, one of my
Oh,
two
burrito.
kittens who just got neutered, so they are we're
They're
in
hanging out
and
with
I
mama.
he saw me taking up more space, so he knew that he
Yes.
could come up on my
Uh-huh.
lap.
It was his sign.
And but that is a difference, right? Because that's doing it in service.
Right. 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 Absolutely. And I
And not
think
that
that
everything has to be in service though. I think as women
no.
we sometimes it we can get confused with that it's like everything
Right.
has to be for other people.
Right. And I wanna go back to that even if you do feel like you're meant for more and you started venturing into different avenues and you find maybe this isn't actually for me, that's okay to honor your season that you're in. And knowing that I have felt this way since my kids were very little, but there's nothing I can it was just kind of there simmering. There wasn't anything I could do about it, but I knew there would come I was hopeful that there would come a time and a place when what I was walking through the Lord would use. And that I feel like feels even more powerful when you're using and the Lord has taken you through something and then it makes it you feel even better like, oh, it wasn't this kind of like you're talking about with addiction. It wasn't this really awful thing that's all it is. We're able to turn it into something beautiful, like you were saying, and shine light on it. And that's really powerful. And also that there's a place for all of us, whether you feel called for more or not. Like there's no shame in either one.
Yeah.
I guess I remember once for soccer, had a new soccer family join the soccer team, and she was really great at coordinating the coaches' gifts and the snacks and whatever. And I remember reaching out to her and saying, like, thank you for using your gift of
Mm,
organization to
mm.
benefit this team because I'm awful at it. And I will give you the money and I will donate the juice and I will do all of the things, but I can't organize anything. And I'm so grateful that you are using your gift in this way so that I can use my gifts in this way. But I can't use this gift without you using yours. And they just all complement each other really well when we walk in what our calling is.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that so much because that is a way that all of us as moms can relate to and that we also can get trapped in comparison.
Yes,
of
and
like,
I think
"Oh,
it's a
she's
good
such a good gift giver. I
right,
should give that good of a gift." And it's no,
right.
that's not necessary. We can
It's
each show up in our
and
own way.
appreciate, like and also I think it speaks to if you show up and you feel like you're too much, like I am
Mm.
taking up too much space and I'm too domineering or I'm too assertive or I appreciate those gifts because like for this soccer mom example, that's not a gift that I have. We can appreciate the gifts in others without comparing ourselves to them and appreciate that they complement each other, they benefit other people. We can see that beauty in each other.
Yeah. I with the space to be able to recognize it, with that
Yes.
the awareness and the pause, it again gets to, this messy middle time is a lot of the different things are going on. And if we don't have space to be able to look at our thoughts and recognize when it is coming into like a comparison or a reaction that isn't true, that is more of, not the holiest like calling for us, then
Mhm.
we can check that and lean out of it. But what I get caught up in so much is I'm so busy. I'm so
Yeah.
busy and there's so many things. And so then all of a sudden it's like, oh, and now it's another event. And we just we're recording this in summer and we just recently are still recovering from May, which I've seen such
Insane,
good,
May.
yes, mayhem, Mayvember, I've heard it.
Yes.
And it's for real, and there's just so many events that we're coordinating and doing, and the way in which we're supposed to show up, and
Mhm.
it I wish that we had more ability to connect in the way that you just said, that we could rely on each other. That's where we are meant to be in villages, because if we
Right.
each are shining our own strengths, where right now, for most of us as moms, we are having to show up in all of these ways, even ones that aren't necessarily our gifts, because we not
So
just
isolated.
yeah, and it's not
Mhm.
just that it's like an expectation, it's because we want to. Like, we wanna
Right.
show our gratitude towards the
Right.
teachers. We want to, flex our time off to be able to attend a field trip. And at the same time, it's just a lot. And
Right.
so then it feels like, how is there even going to be time to be able to show up as more?
Mhm. Those are
That's a question. I
I
want an
know.
answer. Please
I don't
save
know.
this right now.
I don't know. I don't know. I wish I had the answers to that because it's all valid. It's all very true. And with a little more space, and maybe that's where the act of meditation comes in. If we all just started
Building our
microscope.
inner
Yeah.
fitness.
Right. And
Well, and I
then that.
even think about like exercise. There was, especially when my daughter was younger, so like 10 years ago, there were a lot of people on my social media feeds, and they were part of the inspiration for me to step into my own business, but they were parts of like direct sales or MLM companies.
Mhm.
And quite a
Mhm.
few of them were doing like the beach body thing.
Right.
And they were getting up at 4:30 in the morning in order to do like the service to themselves
Mhm.
and the exercise, and like all those things are great. And now that I'm in midlife, I was getting up early for a period of time as well and going to a gym and exercising. In perimenopause and beyond, I don't have the energy for that. And
Right.
if I force myself into that energy, I can do it, but it ends up biting me right in the behind later.
Right.
There's a lot more colorful language, by the way, that I like to use, but I also know that little ears could be listening. So that
It's
is
true.
part of
It's true.
why I come up with these really great Minnesota phrases. Oh, yes, don't you know? But it's a real thing that we have to know, that more you can pursue it
Mm.
and still be present in your current life and tending to the reality of what your body and your mind and everything else needs. We just have to be a little bit creative, and that's where leaning on a friend and
Mhm.
talking about those dreams and not being
Mhm.
afraid to just start with that step of sharing the awareness that you have, that there is something more.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really helps baby steps to get you prepared for if you really are going to step into that calling, you really got to own it. And so starting small, even just telling your friend, it really starts this building the foundation of owning that
Yeah.
proudly. Yeah.
And as our children, so much of our identity is tied to them, but as they age, they're it's different. Like the different seasons are different, but as they go out of our homes, I've listened to a lot of wise women who lost their identity
Yeah.
because they weren't taking small steps to pursue that more of whatever it is. Or maybe it's not more, maybe it's just you. Maybe it's
Mhm.
just lighting up something that is inside of you
Mhm.
that then helps when we do have seasonal shifts so that you aren't at a complete clean slate of redefining
Right.
an identity. You've already had some steps there that now you have this hobby that you're pursuing,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
you are the person that is running, I don't know, some event for your community or whatever
Yeah.
it is that felt like that small step towards it. So I really appreciate that. And I'm coming out of this conversation a better person. So I'm really grateful for that. Thank you, Nicole.
Oh, good. Every conversation I come out of with oh my, every conversation that I leave after speaking with you, I also feel like a better person. I really fumbled that up, didn't I? It would
I
have been much smoother if I would have just gotten it right the first time, but
I
the
was tracking
intention
what
is
you
the
were
same.
saying.
Okay. Okay.
You are enough, just as you are. Your fumbles and foils and all of those things. And that's the message that Nicole and I want to leave you with today is that gratitude and desire can coexist. You
Mhm.
are worthy of that. You have the capacity for that.
Mhm.
And that desire is you being allowed to want more. It
Mhm.
doesn't make you selfish, it makes
Mhm.
you human.
Mhm.
So hopefully this conversation helped to normalize that, and let's continue to make room for more. So thank you so much for being with us in this conversation. If this episode or any of the episodes that you've listened to have touched your heart, please share it with another mom to help touch theirs. We need your help to continue to build this virtual village. And if you haven't already, you know it. We'd be so grateful if you just went right down to the bottom of wherever you're listening and give us a quick rating or review because it helps us grow a world where every mom feels seen and supported in every season to show up, even when she has that little spark for more. So we're grateful that you're here with us in this journey of motherhood and the messy middle. And we're here to cheer you on every step of the way. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hey, before you go, we've got something just for you. We created the Motherhood and the Messy Middle Resource Vault. It's a growing library of support that's just for you. So inside, you're going to find tools from both Nicole and my work, plus resources that we mention right here on the podcast. It's free, it's sent straight to your inbox, and it's always evolving, just like you. So take what you need, leave the rest. You never know when you're going to need it or when your group chat might thank you for it. So use the link in the show notes or head to motherhoodandthemessymiddle.com to get access and welcome to your virtual village.